Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoy the content from the Game On session. There is a lot to explore within the realm of Unity. And speaking of a lot to explore, hear firsthand from Nebih Başaran, CEO and founder of Garawell Games, as they discuss the journey of turning Bridge Race into a global hit and becoming the most downloaded hyper-casual game in the world for 2021 and 2022. Give a round of applause for Nebih.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Please don't be shy and have a seat. And welcome to our session. I am Nebih, Garawell Games CEO and founder. We are partnered with Supersonic by Unity, and I'll present you today two of our hit games that have become one of the most downloaded games in the past years. Actually, one of them, the most downloaded game of last year and the year before, Bridge Race and Color Match. So, not to keep you long with this slide, I'm gonna continue and behind the scenes of #1 hyper-casual game, Bridge Race. Let me talk about our team first. As I mentioned, our team is based in Turkey. We are a team of 12 members, 6 of them Unity developers, 3 of them game artists, and 2 of them game designers, team leaders. That includes me, myself as well. Our location is in Istanbul, our office is in Istanbul, but we are working remotely. Post-COVID, we thought that it was the most efficient way, so we continued that way and using Discord as efficiently as possible to lead our team, manage our team, and most of our team members from all around Turkey. But as I told you, we are partnered with Supersonic and we are always in contact with them regarding the publishing of these 2 games. Our history, to tell you about more of that, we are founded in 2019 and we partnered with Supersonic by Unity in December 2020, and we launched Bridge Race in March 2021, not long after partnering with Supersonic, and then we launched our second hit game, Color Match, in December 2021. That's our team, including Supersonic members as well, since they visited us in Istanbul office. And as you can see, some of our members are from laptop, joining remotely. Gamers will know this is Aztec map from CSGO, but we were actually playing laser tag, don't mind that. It's a win for us. So let's talk about Bridge Race, most downloaded hyper-casual game of 2021 and 2022. The numbers are showing that as well. There are 450 million total downloads for Bridge Race, and you can see the ranks here. I'll just quickly pass over some of the important ones. On Google Play, we have reached rank 1, like we have reached the top charts in overall apps, not just games, in 52 countries. And on App Store, in 22 countries, we have reached top app position. And on game section, as you can see, we have actually dominated the top charts again. And we have reached top 1 in 74 countries and top charts in 94 countries on App Store and 74 countries on Google Play. And the rank 500, as you can see, is the limit for countries. Like there are 150 countries registered in Google Play, and we have reached top 500 for all countries, while we reached top 174 for App Store, all countries. Let's talk about the story of Bridge Race. It's not a short story, to be honest. It began in 2019, as I explained before, when we founded the company. But the idea goes back way more back. As you can see, this is a totally different game. If you know the hyper-casual industry, you would know about Bridge Race, and this is not Bridge Race at all, but it is the core idea of Bridge Race, where the core mechanism is filling holes to complete something intuitively. In hyper-casual, if you are familiar with the industry, you would know that you would always have to come up with something intuitive, to come up with an idea, to attract more people, mass audience, because at the end of the day, you are aiming for the mass audience. So the idea of filling holes to complete a structure was the key here. And we actually brought it to building bridges to make a progress between stages. Initially tested on November 2019, it did not perform well. Again, the industry, industry standards were kind of higher than this, and we had $1.50 of CPI, where we were aiming for 30 cents or less CPI, which means we had 5 times more CPI than expected, so we continued to iterate. But the core mechanism felt intuitive, so we kept on going. This is the second version, Ball Fighters. we kept the core mechanism, but game has totally changed. As you can see here, you have a ragdoll, and you are collecting the balls on your way to pass through the bridge. I mean, to pass through the stages by teleporting through a portal gate. We thought that the filling holes concept had potential, so we changed it to a multiplayer mechanism, as we call it IO in hypercasual industry, and we actually created an IO game which was trending by then with the same mechanism. We changed colors and made some bright colors, but as you can imagine, this doesn't look at the final stage of this game. But still, it brought really promising results. 9 cents. It's like you are hitting a jackpot if you are seeing 9 cents in the industry. If in hypercasual you see 9 cents, you think like it's a soft launch or global launch. But then the in-game metrics had to be optimized because we were at around 35 to 40% of day one retention, which was low for the partner we were working by then. So we actually iterated again to pass the threshold of 45% day one retention. We continued iterating. You'll see this slide a lot in my next slides because we always continued iterating. And iterations included, I'm not gonna count all the bullet points here, but you can see all of them and the changes over on this slide, GIF or GIF as you can prefer. We have added obstacles, we have added background elements, we have changed the environment, we have added many things and improved the performance of the game, but still to no avail, none of these worked and we could not increase the retention to above 40%. We thought, let's do some serious changes here. By then, I'm talking about summer of 2020, by then we were actually getting inspirations from different themes in the industry which were trending by then, and we thought that Fall Guys and cube servers had such a nice trend coming up, and we tried to make this game with the core mechanism similar to Fall Guys and cube servers, where you would collect the bricks as balls under your feet as a teddy bear instead of a ragdoll this time, and you would have to pass the walls, which would be simple to understand. Like when it says X6, you would know that you need 6 balls to pass the second stage. This was totally a different game. It brought around 80 cents of CPI, which was okay. We could have iterated on this, but we did not. We chose not to because that was deviating from the real aspect of the game, which was filling holes, where you were not doing it here. So we said, okay, let's go back to filling holes concept again. New ways to lower the CPI. We came up with this stacking mechanism. As you would see on the previous ones, you wouldn't be stacking the balls under your back. But here, when we made this change of stacking at the back of your character, it actually made some clarification for the gameplay. We thought so. But still, it brought $1.2 of CPI, which was still not quite good. We look back to earlier iterations. At this point, you are asking why did we continue iterating on this game? I'll tell you why, because as I said in the beginning, in 2019, we hit a jackpot with 9 cents of CPI. So we said we could achieve that again maybe, but let's change some stuff on it. The reason we chose to iterate this way, as you can see here, was that we wanted to clarify everything on our way. Hyper-casual audience would like everything clear. They don't have time to understand the game in 30 seconds. They just need 5 seconds of time. So in 5 seconds, if you want to show how the collectibles that you are collecting on the stage are placed clearly as possible, what's the goal of collecting these balls, you would have a clear understanding of what the game is all about. And as you may see on the previous version of the games, you would be passing through a portal gate to the next stage where you were filling holes, but it doesn't really make sense when you're filling holes next to the gate and you're just passing the portal gate. So in that sense, we thought that adding a bridge to fill that gap would actually make sense and make everything more clear. Here you can see that bridges are just crossed by filling in the holes, blocks, and bridges are as simple as possible. As you can see, we are not working heavily on design part in these kind of games. In hyper-casual, you will always have to think about new mechanisms, unique mechanisms, instead of working on the design so much. Here, the bridges have 2 railings next to them, just a gate, and the podium for winners is just an easy one with 1, 2, 3. Still did not bring promising results this time as well, but we thought still that we found something unique here. And the reason we thought so was because $1 CPI did not mean anything at that point because of Christmas and Black Friday seasons. So as we all know, because of seasonality, you sometimes see faults in the CPI. So you want to test it again after the new year. So in January, we tested it again. We still thought that it would be good to test it again in January. And before we tested, there was a crucial advice from Supersonic by Unity, which made clearer path for us. And as you may see on the previous one, the bridges are horizontal, while here they're actually stair bridges this time. What does it mean? What has it changed? The thing is, players in Hypercasual, again, the audience likes to have some kind of a ambiguity in the game when they are passing through stages, so that the next stage, when it's not visible, it makes you wonder what's going to happen on the next stage. So here you can see that before coming to the second stage, you don't see the third stage, and so on and so forth. So adding the stairs mechanism dropped the CPI drastically, and we were actually at the threshold of a soft launch here, and the playtime and retention metrics have spiked as well. We have achieved that part too, because all the time we were iterating the mechanism, we were also optimizing the game a lot, which helped increase the playtime and retention. And by these metrics, you can see that a Hypercasual game could be launched by 2021 March, which we did. And even after introducing ads, which is a retention killer, as you may all know, when you're adding ads, and in Hypercasual, it's actually kind of aggressive as well. You see ads all the time in every 30 seconds or 25 seconds of intervals. So the key was that the playtime KPI and retention KPI still stood strong here, which was actually a reason that it became a mega hit by now. But I'll tell you other reasons. We have actually worked a lot on the LiveOps of this game. 10 different thematic character packages for the shops, boss and bonus levels, new levels, teams, roadmap, more than 200 unique gameplay tests, and more than 1,500 different levels. Just the theme and overall look of the levels were more than 1,500. And I'll not to go unmentioned, but performance optimizations helped a lot. I'll tell you a story here that around the 6th month of our launch, I was actually trying to play it with my own mother's phone, which was Galaxy 4 and 10-plus-year-old phone, and I could not play our own game. I thought to myself, okay, what have we done wrong here? So I looked at the size and looked at the performance of the game and saw that it was actually unplayable on older devices. And we spent around 3 months just optimizing this game to shrink the size, to better the performance. And then we have risen the average FPS at the end. And when the daily download numbers were around 350K, we jumped it to 750K. The same game, just different optimizations, just different performance. And that means a lot for Hypercasual, because not many companies think of that when they launch their games because of a short-term projection. And here, actually, we did it after 6 months as well, which was kind of a long-term projection for us. So you can see this story from the beginning to end, and still the game is being improved. I'll pass on this part and talk about color match before we have enough time to get questions. This is another hit by Garawell Games and Supersonic partnership. Oops, sorry. It's a viral hit, it's a viral TikTok video hit, and we made it into a Hypercasual hit. I'll show you the video now, but let's talk about the statistics of this game as well. It has got around 75 million downloads by today. It hasn't reached the top ranks for overall apps on Google Play, but it has reached top games in 5 countries on Google Play. Mostly on App Store, it was achieving more success. And as you can see here, in 15 countries, we have reached top charts on overall apps on App Store, and 70 countries we have reached top chart on games section on App Store. And you can see that on US App Store we have reached the top charts 3 months in a row. We have stayed in the top 5 position for more than 3 months in a row. And it was chosen, like Bridge Race, among the best games of App Store in 2022. And Bridge Race was actually chosen in the best games of App Store on 2022 and 2021. So the past 2 years, it has achieved great success. Here you can see the artist's video from TikTok, from Reddit. You can see it from all the different social media platforms, even on Instagram. There's a trend of matching the color of an object. Actually, this felt intuitive. And in Hypercasual, many people think that in order to come up with a mechanism, it should be easy. But there is more to that. It shouldn't just have to be easy. It should be depthful as well. It should include a strategy that everybody could understand. And by strategy, I mean, here you can see that while mixing colors, RGB combination is around 265 cubes. So that means you have infinite amount of opportunities to come up with different colors by mixing them. It's simple as it is, but at the end of the day, you can come up with a lot of different colors. And in order to match with different objects, from all around the world, we have different objects. So we thought the depth was our inspiration, and let's continue with that, and let's add the educational and fun aspect in this too. It was one of our first ASMR concepts, which we're proud because, as you can see, Bridge Race is a totally different game from Color Match, and we are kind of proud with that because it's a totally different game. And initial tests did not bring good in-game results. You may not see it here, but it's around 5% day one retention. That means out of 100 people, 95 people are leaving the game because they do not want to play it, because the game had only just one level. So as I was telling, we thought like the world has all these popular objects like cars, fruits, chairs, everything. So we thought let's add more levels, and we added 100 new levels after the iteration. And we added user-friendly UI. And as you can see, it was the initial phase, but it brought around 50 cents of CPI, which was quite okay. But we thought that if we tested it with different objects instead of onion, if we tested it with red apple or pumpkin or aubergine, I mean eggplant, we could have achieved different CPIs with the different objects. So we introduced more than 100 levels. The day 7 retention was lower than day 7% still. So we worked on different game mechanism inside of this game, which means not just by color matching, but you would be able to paint the object after matching the color. So that's a totally different mechanism by spray painting. And then you would be able to sell the object to in an auction, which were actually 3 stages in one game that helped increase retention day 7. And we were able to launch after that with 1,000 second playtime, more than 11% day 7, and more than 50% day 1, which were actually, if you see and compare with Bridge Race, even better than Bridge Race results. But I'll tell you one difference, that the churn in the long retention around day 60 is totally different for Bridge Race, and it's higher on Bridge Race. So after telling about these 2 games, I'll give you a brief about working with publisher. As I've told you a few times here in my presentation, we are working with Supersonic by Unity as our partner, and I'll just briefly go through these 3 main points if you're willing to work with a publisher and what should be looking for in a publisher. The know-how is the most important part of it all, because if you want to work with a publisher, you would have to think that they have achieved great success with different games, so you can achieve a new great success with your new project as well. So if they know UA, user acquisition, monetization, game design, and publishing process well, it's a check mark for a publisher. For communication, I would say that you definitely need a friendly environment, because at the end of the day, you are not doing, I'm just going to be quickly passing through this. You are not doing just the technical stuff here. You are also an artist, a game designer, so the communication is really important, and easy to reach, and responding to all questions is really important. And of course, at the end of the day, if you are thinking about earning financials from money from these games, deal terms are important. Fair partnership terms and payments without delay. Those are some important points. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions right after the presentation, you can find me and ask me. Thank you very much.